my name's Grace Bedward. I'm a third year occupational therapy student at Griffith University, Gold Coast. Sam and I just recently completed a collaborative placement where we were working in community private practice. So we were working with mostly the elderly, doing home modifications, equipment prescription, and working within an aged care facility as well. So on this placement, we were enabling individuals to safely and independently engage in their occupations within their home, whether that be their own homes or their aged care facilities. And to do so, we worked with physiotherapists, we worked with other occupational therapists, the clients' families, some nurses and some case managers as well. So prior to the placement, Sam and I had an opportunity to sort of meet up and discuss our strengths and our weaknesses and how we best receive feedback and all those sorts of things. So that definitely put me at ease a little bit. We sort of discussed what will work for us whilst we're on the placement. So leading up to the placement, I was a little bit anxious, of course, not having done a collaborative placement before and not being too familiar with the area. But yeah, I think knowing that I had a peer to sort of bounce off and work with was very comforting.
Hi, my name's Samantha Burley. I'm a third year student occupational therapist from Griffith University, and I recently participated in a collaborative placement with Grace. Prior to placement, we were lucky enough to have the support from Griffith OT, and we had some facilitated meetings where we talked about some of the ground rules that we were going to set. We had some really open communication about our feedback, how we would manage the dynamic with the relationships as well. So we had those conversations beforehand, and we were really conscious when we were on placement to maintain those professional boundaries as we were peers and with our practice educator as well.
I would do a consult with a client, and then Sam would be observing, so I was able to receive feedback from both my practice educator and Sam, which was really helpful because you were able to see that perspective from the supervisor and what she needs from me and what she does within the workplace, and then seeing it from Sam's perspective and what we do in class and what we think is important when we're on prac. So it was really great having both of those feedback options.
So Grace and I had a really great way of managing our peer supervision. We had formal peer supervision weekly, and we followed an agenda, and we would fill out records as well that our practice educator would also could have a look at if she wanted to. So that was a really good way of making sure that we were formally supervising each other and providing that feedback. But we also had a lot of informal feedback, which I think is what made the collaborative placement model work so well. So often we would carpool and we would have debriefing sessions after the day, or prior to the day we would discuss some of the things we're planning to do, and throughout the day as well. As we're on a community placement, we were often in the car, and we would provide supervision along with our practice educator.
Throughout the placement, Sam and I identified a need for a possible outcome measure, and we decided to utilise the COPM, the Canadian Occupational Performance Measure, and it provided to be quite beneficial, and the company we were working for really responded well to it, so we provided them with some resources, and now fortunately that's been implemented in their practice, and they use it with majority of their clients, as I'm aware.
So in terms of some of the clinical skills that Grace and I discussed that we developed from the collaborative placement model, we really learned how to articulate our professional reasoning. We often had those informal feedback sessions where we would talk about the reasoning that we used during that day with different clients. And I think it worked really well. We were able to work on our strengths and weaknesses. Grace and I have really different strengths and weaknesses, and so Grace might give me different feedback about some of the skills like professional communication or co-worker communication, and I could develop my skills in those areas, and I could give Grace feedback about different areas of skills as well. So some of the other clinical skills that Grace and I discussed that we developed through the collaborative placement model was to be really reflective of our practice. We were able to both reflect on how we were contributing occupational perspective to the practice. We were able to develop our skills in evaluating our service delivery and evaluating how we were enacting a lot of the skills that we'd been learning for the last couple of years while we're on placement. I would really recommend the collaborative placement model to other students. I think it was really beneficial for me in developing a lot of my skills in practice education, and I think some of the things that worked really well for us that I would recommend was that we established really clear ground rules beforehand. We knew what our expectations were, we knew the style of feedback that we liked and our learning styles, so I think that worked really well, and I would recommend that in the future. And I think just being open to feedback is one of the really important parts, that it it can be difficult when it's coming from a peer who's learned similar things to you at university at times, but I think it's really valuable, and so I would definitely recommend that. For anyone out there about to go out on a collaborative placement, make the most of the opportunity and enjoy the learning experience that comes with it.